Okay, factorising. Factorising is the exact opposite of multiplying out brackets. For example, you might have something like 2x plus 8, okay? And you're told to factorise that. This is what you do. The first thing you do is underneath write a pair of brackets the same width or slightly wider than the original expression, okay? Next, you write an equal sign here, but give yourself plenty of space, okay? Next, you start with the numbers. You look at the numbers in both of these terms, 2 and 8, and you have to find their highest common factor. In other words, which is the number that divides into both 2 and 8? And the answer is 2, because 2 goes into 2 once and 2 goes into 8 4 times. So 2 is the common factor, and you write that in this space you've left yourself here outside the bracket. Okay, so we've pulled out a 2. Next, you look at the variables. Now there's an x there, but there's nothing there. So there's no common factor. We can't do anything with the variables. And therefore we finished pulling all the terms out. So now what you do, you have to work out what goes inside the bracket. You look at the first term and you ask yourself, what do I have to multiply 2 by to get that? Okay? In other words, 2 times what equals that? So you go there, there, there. 2 times what equals that? Well, 2 times x equals 2x. Okay? Same thing here. You ask yourself, what do I have to multiply 2 by in order to get that? 2 times what is 8? 2 times 4 is 8. And we've finished. That's how you factorise. Follow those steps and you won't go wrong. And I told you it was the opposite of multiplying out a bracket. I'll prove it. Let's go from here, multiply out the bracket, and we should get the original expression. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 4 is 8. 2x plus 8. Yeah, it works. You see? So going from there to there is factorising. Okay? And going the other direction is multiplying out the brackets. Multiplying out the brackets. All right, let's do another example. Let's do 6x plus 18y. Okay, 6x plus 18y. We've got to factorise that. So, first step, write some brackets underneath, slightly wider than the original expression. Then write an equal sign, leaving yourself a good space there. Then look at the numbers. What's the highest common factor of 6 and 18? Well, 6 goes into both 6 and 18. So we're going to write a 6 there. Then you look at the variables, x and y. They're different. They have no common factor. So we finish pulling stuff out. It's only 6. So now what do we write here? 6 times what equals 6x? 6 times x equals 6x. Same here. 6 times what equals 18y? Well, it's 6 times 3y equals 18y. Because 6 times 3 is 18, and that's just the y there. We're done. That factorised is 6 times x plus 3y. Good. Let's do another example. Let's do 5p plus 25p squared. 5p plus 25p squared. Factorise that. Okay. Write down the brackets. Write an equal sign with plenty of space. And now we can start. Look at the numbers. Common factor of 5 and 25. Well, 5 goes into 25 and 5 clearly goes into 5. So the common factor is 5. Now you look at the variables, p and p squared. They do have a common factor. And it's p. There's p there, and there's p times p here. So there's at least one p over here. There's two of them, in fact. And there's one here. So the highest common factor, it's not p squared, because there's only one here. The highest thing that they've both got is just a single p. That's got one of them, that's got two of them. So the highest common factor of p and p squared is p. So we pull that out. Okay, and now we're done pulling out terms. So now, what do we write there? 5p times what equals 5p? 5p times 1 equals 5p. Okay? 5p times what equals 25p squared? Well, 5 times 5 is 25, and p times p gives you p squared. So 5p times 5p equals 25p squared. So that is what we write there. We're finished. Making sense? Okay, let's do another one. 12q squared plus 30q. Okay, 12q squared plus 30q. Right, brackets, space, equals. Let's go. Right, first the numbers. Highest common factor of 12 and 30. Well, it's not 12 because it doesn't go into 30. 8 doesn't go into 6. Yes, 6 goes into both of them. It's going to be 6. It is 6. So write a 6 outside. We've pulled out a 6. Now the variables, q and q. Well, it's q. So we pull out a q. Oh, hang on, did I say q squared? Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a squared there. Let's make this one slightly harder. Okay? So it's the same as this. Common factor of p and p squared is p. Okay? Common factor of q squared and q is q. So it's the same thing. We still pull out a q. Okay? So we're finished. We've done the numbers and we've done the variables. So what goes here? 6q times what equals 12q squared? Well, 6 times 2 is 12. Q times what is q squared? Q times q. Okay? 6q times 2q is 12q squared. What goes here? 6q times what equals 30q? 6 times 5 is 30. Q times 1 is q. So we're not going to write 5 times 1 there. We just leave it as 5. So that's the answer. 6q times 5 is 30q. Okay, one more example. Minus 10x squared. I'll try to get this one right from the beginning. And I've just failed then. Minus 10x squared minus 10x squared minus 35xy. Okay, it's got a bit of everything, this one. So, as always, bracket, bracket, space, equals. Right, we can begin. Numbers 10 and 35, but they're both minus. So we've got a minus 10 and a minus 35. So the highest factor of 10 and 35 is 5. But because they're both minus, we can pull out the minus as well. So we actually pull out a minus 5. Okay? Now, the variables. We've got an x times x here, or x squared, and an xy here. Well, this one has got 1x in it, and this one's got 2. So they've both got at least 1x. So that, and that one doesn't have any y's. So therefore, just the 1x is the common factor that we pull out. Okay? So we pulled out a minus 5x from both of these. Same thing as always. Minus 5x times what is minus 10x squared? Well, minus 5 times 2 is minus 10, and x times x is x squared. Okay? Minus 5x times 2x is minus 10x squared. Right, this one. Minus 5x times what is minus 35xy? Well, looking at the numbers, minus 5 times plus 7 is minus 35. Okay? So minus times a plus gives a minus. And now, x times what gives xy? X times y gives you xy. Because minus 5x times plus 7y equals minus 35xy. Okay? So a harder example, but exactly the same stuff. There you go. That's factorising.